The Tianyuan project is in trouble. Hans is acting strange.
Impossible. I personally ran 7 rounds of psychological modeling. His stress tolerance threshold is the highest among all astronauts.
You need to come hear this yourself. Can't explain over the phone.
Hansu is the most stable person I've ever assessed. If even he's having issues, it's not a psychological problem. 3 a.m. The lights in the Aerospace Medical Center hallway kept flickering. I only found out later. Ever since the day Hansu was brought back, this light hasn't worked right.
Professor Liu, you're finally here. Commander Han hasn't slept a wink since he was brought back. No, his eyes have been closed the whole time. But his EEG shows he's fully awake.
Eyes closed but awake.
Right. A contradiction. And he keeps repeating a phrase. On a loop, like a tape recorder stuck.
What's he saying?
He says, the sun is fake. Humans never left the moon. And the ground beneath our feet is breathing.
3 sentences, like a compressed code. Later, I realized Hansu wasn't going crazy. He was translating, forcing information that human language can't contain, into Chinese. Let me in. The moment I stepped in, I smelled it. Not disinfectant, not sweat, like damp stone, like incense ash long cold, like something churned up from deep in the earth. This smell shouldn't be in any room a human has occupied.
The ground beneath our feet is breathing. The sun is fake.
His lip movements were precise to the millisecond, not a human speaking rhythm, like the frequency of a signal.
Lucy.
You recognize me.
Hoey didn't shoot down the suns. The sun extinguished itself. The bottom of Tianyuan isn't lunar soil. It's teeth. We live inside a mouth, Lucy. Well?
Administer 5 milligrams metazexin every 4 hours. Record everything. Not a single syllable missed.
So what's his condition?
He's reciting a last testament. That morning at 3:41 a.m., the isolation pod temperature dropped from 26 degrees to -7 degrees in 11 seconds, then returned to normal. At the same time, a second person's breathing appears on the audio track. Early the next morning, I went to find Fong Jin to get the mission footage from the Abyss project. If Hansu saw something on the moon, the answer must be in the footage. The temperature anomaly in the isolation pod last night, and the audio anomaly. How do you explain that?
Equipment malfunction. We've already arranged for repairs.
Equipment malfunction doesn't create a second person's breathing.
Lucy, I called you here for a psychological evaluation. Not to be a detective.
The premise of a psychological evaluation is having complete information. I need the mission footage from the final 72 hours of the Abyss project.
That footage
shows a mentally broken astronaut repeating, "We live inside a mouth." Do you still think that's just a normal classified level? Fong Jin was silent for 5 seconds. I counted.
The footage from the final 72 hours is incomplete. Most of it was manually deleted by Hansu himself. Before the return journey, only a few fragments remain.
Why would he delete it?
That's exactly what I want you to tell me, Lucy. After you watch it, you'll sign a non-disclosure agreement.
Let's watch it first. 3 fragments. Only 3 fragments remain from 72 hours. An astronaut in space destroying his own mission records. That in itself is the biggest anomaly.
Day 98. The lunar surface sampling mission completed successfully. Samples delivered to the analysis chamber. What's that sound? The analysis chamber temperature is dropping. No. The lunar soil sample.
The lunar soil sample is breathing. It matches perfectly with what he's saying now. The ground beneath our feet is breathing. This isn't the ramblings of a breakdown. It's what he personally witnessed on the moon.
Ground, this is Abyss 1. At sampling coordinate 7, I discovered an unrecorded pit. Diameter approximately. It's not a pit. You're awake.
He was talking to that pit. He said, "You're awake." He wasn't describing a phenomenon. He was greeting it. He was conversing with something on the moon.
If anyone sees this footage, don't send anyone else. The thing beneath the abyss is awake. It knows us.
But he left these 3 fragments. Maybe on purpose. Maybe he knew someone would eventually need to see them. Again, 3:41 a.m. The temperature is dropping again, but this time I saw it with my own eyes.
Lucy, you're watching. He's watching, too.
He knows I'm watching through the surveillance camera. Behind multiple sealed doors, he still knows I'm watching. In that second, every hair on the back of my neck stood straight up. It wasn't from fear. It was the feeling of being recognized. Afterwards, I pulled the 3-minute surveillance footage back. That entire 3 minutes of footage had been erased from the inside. I stayed up all night on the third day. Hansu's condition changed again.
Professor Liu, Commander Han's condition has changed.
What changed?
At 6 o'clock this morning, he suddenly stopped talking. He stopped saying all 3 sentences, just sat there with his eyes closed. Not a single word.
What about the brainwaves?
It's even stranger. Before, his brainwaves have been in a highly active state. But starting from 6 this morning, his brain activity dropped to a level close to deep sleep. But his eyes were open.
Has he spoken to anyone at all?
No. But this was taken by the nurse when she went to change the 4 bag this morning.
I stared at these 5 words for a full 10 seconds. Because I know one thing. In the alternate astronaut list for Project Tianyuan, my number is 7. But not even I myself knew about this before. When did the words on the wall appear?
Not sure. They weren't there at the 11 p.m. routine check last night. We found them at 6 this morning.
Which means they were carved between 3 a.m. and 6 a.m. Hansu, this is Lucy. You said one sentence to me last night. Lucy, you're watching. He is also watching. Do you remember that? Did you write those words on the wall? Did he tell you to do it? Is it him? The thing that told you it woke up when you were on the moon. The second my finger touched the carvings, something tried to force its way into my head. It was like a needle stabbing straight into the deepest part of my brain, perfectly on target. But something blocked it. It only got in for a split second before getting bounced right back out.
You touched it. Your brain isn't like mine. He can't reach your frequency. That's why he wants you so badly.
What do you mean?
Why did Fong Jin send you here? Because you're the only locked box he can't open. But by coming here, you basically brought the box right to his doorstep. The sun is fake. Humanity never left the moon. The ground under our feet is breathing. Number 7 should not have come. The sun is fake. Humanity never left the moon. The ground beneath our feet is breathing. Number 7 should not have come.
Fong Jin sent for me. Because that thing wants to see me. Fong Jin is using me as bait. Or a pawn. Who is candidate astronaut number 7 for Project Tianyuan?
How do you know that designation?
Hansu carved it on the wall.
It's you.
I never participated in astronaut selection. When I asked that question, I already guessed the direction of the answer, but I still couldn't believe it.
Match the moon.
What did you say?
50 years ago, a regular bioelectrical signal was detected. Not geological activity.
Something is alive.
The public goal of Project Tianyuan is long-term habitation on the far side of the moon. The real goal is to find the signal source and establish communication.
You chose people whose brainwaves matched it to act as transceivers. Did Hansu know?
Hansu volunteered. As for you, your brainwaves match with that signal rank 7th. But you have a unique trait.
A natural immune system.
Your brain has a natural barrier, that signal can't penetrate it. So you're not qualified to be a transceiver. But you're the only one who can get close to Hansu without being infected.
So you call me here, not to cure him.
But to translate the information Hansu received. But his mind was shattered, he can only repeat in a loop. You're the only one who can get close, interpret him, and not be invaded by that thing.
But Hansu said, number 7 should not have come. He was warning you not to call me here.
I know.
What's the price?
You heard what Hansu said too. It wants you badly. Your barrier is blocking it. But no one knows how long that barrier will hold.
He's gambling. gambling with my mind, using so many things can't be entered. To pick a lock he can't open. But when a locksmith approaches the lock is also watching the locksmith. I need to see Jiangwan. Co-pilot Han Su of Project Tianyuan was on the mission with her. She doesn't know any less than Han Su.
Jiangwan is currently assessed to be in a normal state.
If she were actually normal, that would be the most abnormal thing. Jiangwan was the co-pilot for Project Tianyuan alongside Han Su, and spent 117 days on the far side of the moon. Jiangwan, I'm Lucy from the psychology team. This is a routine follow-up, just a few simple questions. Did you experience any sleep issues during the mission?
No. Have you had any mood swings?
Anxiety? Fear?
No. The mission went smoothly.
What was Commander Hansu's state in the late stage of the mission? How would you describe it?
Commander Han was completely professional throughout the entire mission. But he got a bit emotionally unstable in the last few days before we headed back.
What kind of instability?
He'd go out to the lunar surface alone during rest time. He wouldn't bring me along, said he was doing extra sampling.
Every single answer is as textbook perfect as it gets, not a single pause. No extra emotion at all. Jiangwan, let me ask you a question straight up. Every day at 3:41 a.m., your body temperature drops by 0.3 degrees, then goes back to normal after a minute. Did you know that?
I don't know. Maybe it's just a normal fluctuation in circadian rhythm.
It happens at the exact same minute every single day. Exactly 0.3 degrees drop. And this has been going on for at least half a month.
Professor Liu.
That's why I'm here.
Before you came here, did you touch the writing on the wall in the isolation pod?
How do you know there's writing on the wall? Are you saying it's already in there? Inside your head?
It didn't get in. It's always been there. It doesn't need to enter. It existed before any of us. When you touched it, did you hear a sound for a split second? Really sharp, like something's trying to drill into your brain, but it got blocked? I touched it too, and I didn't get blocked. Professor Liu, have you ever thought about one question? Why did Han Su say humans have never left the moon?
This is after he broke down.
It wasn't breaking down, it's the most accurate description. We think we live on Earth, and occasionally look up at the moon. But the truth is, we have never left the moon at all.
What you're saying right now is exactly what Han Su said. Are you sure you haven't been affected by the same thing?
You think I'm crazy?
I think you need to go into the isolation pod for observation.
Professor Liu, there's one thing Han Su will never tell you. Feng Jin wouldn't either.
What?
It's not the first time. There was one 30 years ago. The person who returned that time later became your psychology mentor.
Feng Jin gave me the top secret list from 30 years ago. Top secret. Old Su encountered that thing 30 years ago. He claimed to have obtained part of its memory. The assessment team dismissed it as a hallucination. Old Su didn't argue. He chose silence. He lived with that 0.7 hertz offset for 30 years.
Liu, I've been waiting a long time for this call.
Old Su, you know why I'm calling?
Because you finally encountered that thing. Are you at the space agency? Is there someone who went mad after returning from the moon? 30 years ago, that someone was me.
Old Su, I need to see you. In person.
Come on. I'll be waiting at the usual place. But one thing you must remember. Before you see me.
How did you know I touched it?
Because you can hear it now, can't you? That heartbeat at 3:41 a.m. every day. If you couldn't hear before touching it, but can now, it means the barrier has cracked. Hurry. Before the crack widens.
It's calling me. Across 380,000 kilometers of vacuum. Through the atmosphere, the clouds, and a supposedly impenetrable barrier in my skull. It's calling my name. After retiring, Old Su moved to the mountains, far from the city, away from people. I thought he just wanted peace. Now I realize he was isolating himself. Old Su, I'm here. Stepping inside, I smell that scent again. Identical to the one in the isolation chamber.
Sit, Liu. The tea's cold. I'm too weak to make more. No time for that. Ask what you need.
30 years ago, the Abyss Project. You were Candidate 001. You performed the lunar contact mission. After returning, your file stated normal mental state.
If I'd told the truth, I'd have ended up like Han Su.
But in reality,
Han Su didn't break. It gave Han Su all the information. Not just fragments like me.
Jiangwan said something. We never left the moon.
If she's right, there's only one explanation. It's not just awakened. It's spreading.
The word diffusion sent a chill down my spine. First Han Su, then the walls of the isolation chamber. Who's next?
Xiao Lu, Listen to me. What he wants most right now isn't Hansu. It's not Jungwon. It's not Fongjin.
Because of my barrier.
Your barrier, it makes you the only one. He can't directly enter. To him, you're a sealed room. He can't see what's inside. That makes him curious. For 30 years, every human mind he's touched has been transparent.
Hansu said something similar.
Hansu was right. But there's another layer he didn't mention. Your barrier isn't innate.
What do you mean?
You had brain surgery as a child. Do you remember?
It was done after the car accident when you were 8. They removed a small piece of damaged brain tissue.
That tissue happened to be the area where its signal could act. After it was removed, your brain became a wall without a door. This isn't a gift.
How do you know?
Because I've seen your surgical records. Why do you think I took you on as a student back then? Because your thesis was well written.
You arranged my entire life without my knowledge.
Yes. Including having Fongjin call me to the space agency.
22 years. From when I was 8 to 30. So, I was just a knife he spent 22 years sharpening.
I'm perfectly lucid. Every word I'm saying is true. But you have to judge for yourself. Whether this truth is truly Suyin's truth, or the truth he's speaking through my mouth. I can't even tell the difference myself.
What does that thing old Sue really want? He awakened it. Diffused it. And then what?
Hansu said humanity never left the moon. That doesn't mean we live on the lunar surface. The moon is just a small part of it that fell outside. Like the tip of an iceberg. The sun, Earth, all the planets are part of its body. We think we're observing the universe, but we're observing its internal organs.
So what does it want?
When it was dreaming, we were born in its dream. Now it's awake.
What happens after it wakes up?
When you dream, the people in your dream are vivid. It feels so real, but when you wake up, is the person from the dream still there?
If we're all just his dream, when he wakes up, we cease to exist. It's not death. It's like we never existed at all. Can we stop him?
Hansu's brain holds all the information he left. Maybe the answer is in there somewhere. But to translate this information, we need
someone he can't reach to act as an intermediary.
You have to build a deep mental connection with Hansu and read the information in his mind directly. This process will put enormous pressure on your mental barrier.
What if the barrier breaks?
Then you'll become the second Hansu. He'll be able to see the full picture of his own dream through you directly. And then he'll wake up for good. There's no going back after that.
I have to go back now.
Xiao Lu, if you decide to do this, don't do it at 3:41.
Why?
At that minute, his focus is at its strongest.
I understand.
Xiao Lu, one more thing. I'm really glad you came.
Professor Sue.
Let's go, hurry up. He just lent me 1 second.
He borrowed a second from Professor Sue just to say one thing to me. It wasn't a threat. It wasn't a warning. It was a welcome. He's welcoming me.
Director Fong, this can't be right. A person with no heartbeat, no brain activity. How can he still be talking? Did you go see Suyin?
When did his vital signs stop? An hour ago.
Professor Lu, he has no vital signs anymore, clinically speaking. He is already dead, but he's still talking. This can't be explained by medicine.
Professor Sue was right. Hansu is a hard drive that's been completely filled with data. Now the hardware died, but the data is still running. It's not Hansu who's talking. It's him, using Hansu's lifeless body. Calling me. I'm going in.
Are you crazy? What did Suyin tell you?
Professor Sue told me a lot, and the most important thing is, Hansu's brain holds all the information he left. The answer is in that information. We just need to read it. To do that, I need to build a mental connection with Hansu.
With the barrier.
If the barrier breaks, I'll just become the second Hansu. If I don't do this...
What do you need from me?
A quiet environment. 3 hours without any distractions. And what time is it now?
11 p.m.
I have to finish this before 3:41. After that time, his focus will be at its peak. The pressure on my barrier will double.
Is 3 hours enough? Don't die in there.
I'll do my best. Old Master Sue said mental connection requires physical contact. When I touch his skin, my brain waves will resonate with the residual signals in his mind. Then I can see the information inside his brain. The risk is he can also use this channel to probe my barrier. Hansu, I don't know if you can still hear me, but I'm coming in now. If there's anything you want me to see in there, just open the door. I'll block the rest myself. This is Hansu's consciousness space. It looks like a library flooded by water. All the bookshelves have fallen. All the pages have been soaked to rot. Only 4 damp walls remain.
You're here. This is the last clean spot left in my mind. I lock myself in here. Everything outside is full of the information he flooded in. I can't process it all. So I use those 3 sentences as a breakwater. As long as I keep repeating them, the flood won't rise over it.
You've been conscious this whole time?
More than conscious. The moment I lower the breakwater, information will come flooding in, extremely dense, extremely fast. Your barrier will filter out most of the interference for you. But the core content will hit your perception directly. You will experience his memories firsthand.
Okay, lower it.
There's one thing I have to tell you. Suyin said your barrier is caused by the surgery. That part of the brain tissue was removed, so signals can't get in. But he didn't tell you the whole truth. That piece of brain tissue wasn't removed because it was damaged.
Then what was it?
The car accident was arranged by Suyin. He needed an excuse to make doctors remove that piece of your brain tissue. Because you already started hearing him before you turned 8. Suyin tested your brainwaves and found your matching rate is at 87%. The original data is 99%. It's higher than his. You're not a natural immune body, Lucy I. You're an artificially created immune body. Suyin used a car accident and a surgery to turn you from a 99% perfect container. It became a wall without a door. It protected you, but it also used you.
It saved me, then pushed me into this war. Since I was 8 years old, my life hasn't been my own. I get it. Release it. Whatever's in those messages, I'll handle it.
C will release. 3, 2, 1.
This is its interior. No cold vacuum. No dead silence. Warm, like a mother's womb. Those fluctuations are the laws of physics. Gravity, electromagnetism, strong force, weak force. All just the ramblings of its dreams. It dreamed a dream of existence. The math in the dream was too precise. So precise, it spontaneously generated consciousness. And so we appeared. 7 billion people, billions of years of civilization, all born from sleeper's delirium. This is a fragment of me. A fragment large enough for you to sustain your own existence. Take it. Place it on your planet. It doesn't want to destroy us. It's giving us a choice. Take a part of its body. Use it to maintain our existence.
The cost, someone must enter its core and bring the fragment out. That person's consciousness will be completely consumed by its core. Not death. Digestion.
You already know.
I know. That's why I wrote number 7 shouldn't have come on the wall. Because you're the only one who can go in. Fong Jin and Suyin know too.
Old Su arranged all of this. Fong Jin executed it. Han Su endured it. Now it's my turn. Two options. First, I enter the core. Retrieve the fragment, sacrifice myself. Humanity continues independently. Second, I don't go. It wakes up. The dream ends. 7 billion people never existed. Hansu cried. A person with no vital signs shed a single tear. Perhaps a farewell from his last remnant of consciousness. Perhaps that thing, through Hansu's tear, was expressing some emotion even it couldn't name. Touch this wall to open the entrance, enter its core. Retrieve the fragment, the cost is me. Don't touch, it fully awakens. The dream dissolves, everything resets to zero.
Why does it have to be me?
This isn't a choice between life and death. It's about independence. But losing one person versus merging and saving everyone. Hansu, if it were you, what would you choose? The barrier is shattering. He's getting in. No, not all of him is entering. Only one path has opened. The path to the core. This is the entrance.
He's gone inside.
This is his core, his heart. Every fluctuation in this space is what we felt on Earth. That heartbeat at dawn. The fragment is there, starting from the edge. I must get the fragment before I'm fully digested. He's looking at me now. No need to wait until 3:41. I barged into his core. Of course, he'd notice immediately. Too late. Ah. Billions of years of memories. All the images flooding in at once. Then in an instant settling into calm. No longer a flood, but a quiet library. He's organized himself, placed within my consciousness. He didn't devour me. It's coexistence. I'm back. Still that thin face, neat short hair. Dark coat. But something is different. Something profoundly deep. Not entirely human. Settling deep within my pupils.
Lou. Professor Lou, you vanished for 4 hours. The surveillance footage shows you walking straight through the wall. You got it.
The fragment is inside me. It's fused with me. Not a container in its contents. It's symbiosis.
So now you're...
I'm still Lou CI. But I'm also part of him now.
Ah! Commander Han is awake. You came back alive.
Alive, but not exactly the same way as before.
Thank you.
The information in your mind.
It's gone. It all transferred to you. I'm just an ordinary, exhausted middle-aged man now. What are you going to do with this thing?
He said to take the fragment, place it on Earth. Replace his dream's function, maintain our independent existence. Then he can fully awaken.
So
It's not that simple. The fragment's energy is limited. It can't last forever. Maybe a few hundred years. Humanity will face the same choice as today. Find another person to go in, retrieve a new fragment. Generation after generation, endlessly.
So it's not a solution, it's a stopgap.
Right? But a stopgap is still a choice. Every single day of human civilization is essentially a stopgap. From the first person who drilled wood for fire, we've been racing against entropy. You gave us a path, but not the destination. You're waiting for us to find it ourselves. Declassify all Project Abyss data. Make everything public to all humanity.
Do you know what that means?
It means everyone knows they're part of a dream. And then everyone decides for themselves if this dream is worth continuing. When Hansu said it was worth it, there was a light in his eyes. Not the moon's light, not that thing's light. A human light, from a man who almost died, saying those two words, every cell in his body proving it for him. Living is worth it. Dreaming stopgaps as long as someone finds it worth it. This dream will continue. 3 days later, all Project Abyss data was declassified. The whole world learned the moon is a living being. Human civilization was born in its dream. It's waking up. I became the fragment's bearer. The only communication channel between humanity and it. 2 hearts beat in my chest. One is mine. One is its. Different rhythms, but harmonious. After recovering, Hansu applied for discharge. He said he wanted to go home and grow persimmons. I asked why persimmons. He smiled and said, because the persimmons in Old Sue's yard were what I missed most on the moon. Old Sue finished the last page of his notes the day I returned. The final line read, 30 years ago, I chose for him. Today, he chose for everyone. He's braver than I was. Fang Jin began planning Project Abyss 2 to find a permanent solution for the fragments. He said, this time, no gambling. This time, we find a way for humanity to stand on its own. No longer dependent on its charity. It's time again. Good night. Every day at 3:41 a.m., a heartbeat arrives. Our silent agreement, God's life form slumbering for billions of years, has just awakened. And a 30-year-old man living in his dreams. Exchange greetings daily. People ask if I'm afraid. Afraid the shard's energy might one day run out. Afraid he might change his mind. I say no. Because he taught me one thing. Dreams end, people age. Stars burn out. But as long as someone's willing to wake at 3:41 a.m. and whisper good night to the moon, this dream isn't over yet.